How are you feeling, Finn, about the ways in which Drew is changing? How are you feeling, Finn? Lovely.
Well, it's just really...
How am I feeling? It's very bizarre. There's two things going on. Oh, well, there's more than two things going on. Of course there is. It's lovely seeing you change and seeing you kind of like start to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is strange, that kind of starting to see who you were beginning to disappear and the new you moving into its place. I'm more excited and enjoying it more than I was, because, you know, if you've watched my previous videos, I had a lot of kind of fear about how I'd feel, because there's a double kind of pressure in a way, because of Drew accepting my transition. There's like that bit of, I feel like I should, and then if I don't accept it, then I'm going to be a complete arsehole. I've gone through all of that. But no, we've gone through all of that, haven't we? And I was kind of really worried about that, and what if I just do not feel the same way? But that's not happened at all, and it's lovely watching you begin to change and your voice beginning to deepen, and just listening to you doing exactly the same thing I did, where you just keep your voice at one level because otherwise it's really hard to talk, and all that kind of strange
I have
stuff.
also got a sore throat today, so that's really not helping.
But it does sound pretty epic today.
It does sound epic today, actually.
But yeah, it's that kind of thing that you described, where you are the same person, but in a sense you're not, because you're starting to change facially, you're sounding different, you're acting a bit different, so there's that kind of like letting go of who you were and of who we were as a couple, getting used to this new person that's arriving and another new way of being in it as a couple. We've been so many different ways as a couple that it's so bloody confusing as to who does what and who's what in this relationship, isn't it? It's and that actually leads on to the next question, which was, do you miss the person Drew was before and the way your relationship was before? Well, kind of yes and no, because you weren't happy.
No. And
so I'd rather that unhappy person goes anyway to be replaced with a happier, more authentic person. So I still miss who I was before with you.
I still miss who you were before as well.
But I guess that's the same way as whenever you look back on the past and you're nostalgic about days gone by, I guess it's the same as that. I don't really...
Good old days.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, you know, remember the days when we used to go drinking and we were complete idiots, and I'm, like, sober now.
Yeah.
So it's not I want those days back, or it's like this isn't as good as then. It's just that I look back with nostalgia, as you do with anything. So.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But I love the relationship we are now anyway, and I'm intrigued to see what happens as you go on. So, yes and no is the answer to that question.
And if you want to know the other way around, I'm the same answer as yes and no as well. Just in case anybody ever does. Yeah, I do miss the old you. You know, that's who I originally fell in love with, and then obviously with you transitioning, you have to say kind of goodbye to that person and kind of embrace the new person, and I know you're having to do that with me, and as you said, you have to do that with you as well, just like I've got to do that with me too. So my previous incarnation, I'm still, you know, I do still grieve sometimes. I'm still here, but I'm changing as well, so it's really bizarre.
It is, isn't it?
It's really like your body's being turned inside out, and just like, it's bizarre.
Wonderfully bizarre, but bizarre.
Yes.
Have you encountered any issues in your relationship since Drew began his transition? Yes. It is rocky, isn't it? Well, it was when I first started transitioning as well.
Yes. It is rocky.
So the whole kind of like voice change thing.
Yeah.
And the lack of talking.
Sorry about that.
Cause
I just don't talk. I just got nothing to
you
say.
don't anyway. No, you're not a big talker anyway. But when you're transitioning, when you're going through a massive change as a couple, communication is really important. Yeah. Really, really important. So when you're not doing it, it's really hard work.
It's kind of frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree, and you know, I try, but it just doesn't work sometimes. I can sit there and I can have 100 million thoughts in my head, but none of it can be vocalised. It's just the way I am, and I try. Just not very successfully. But yeah, no, that is probably our biggest thing at the moment, is just general communication issues.
We have not had time to settle as a couple, have we? Because every time we settle, something changes.
Yeah.
So we kind of get used to who we each individually are in the relationship and the roles we kind of play, and then I transitioned and that all changed.
Yeah.
And now you're transitioning and that's all changed. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's getting to know each other all over again, isn't it? And I'm still changing, not so much mentally as I was, but physically now, with my surgery and everything.
Yeah.
So it's just, it is, it's not an issue, it's a challenge. I'd put it as a challenge, and it's one I want because I love you.
Love you too.
But it is, I think it was worse in the beginning. It's getting a bit easier over the last month, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've introduced a few things, which I'll talk about in a bit because someone asked about this. But yeah, it isn't easy.
It's not easy.
But
worth it.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. That's good. Has Drew's transition had any impact on the way you are intimate together? Well, this is a bit difficult to talk about, too in depth. So I'll let you take the lead because I'm more open than things than you are.
I suppose so. Yeah, a little bit, because it kind of goes from both sides. With your transition as well as mine is kind of causing a bit of a impact is the word to use, because obviously I don't know how I want to be intimate, or how I don't know. I don't know how I want to be touched, so for you to then do that is, because I think you're a bit wary as well, because you don't know how to do it, and I don't know how I want you to, and it's just like, we don't talk about it, we just kind of like go, oh well, we won't then. Basically. But then obviously with the introduction of like lower surgery as well for you, that has not put another spanner in the wheel, but it has a bit. But it has, on the grounds of, it's like, well, what do we do with that? It's probably the best way to put it. And you know, because I know you got to a stage in your transition where you didn't want.
I didn't want you near me at one point. It just got too much. Top
or at
surgery.
Least certain areas of you.
The top surgery just made it so much easier.
Yeah.
And I know that before top surgery, I found it so hard.
Yeah. See, probably waist down, I'm not so kind of about things. I think it is. I don't know how to put it into words.
I know what you mean.
So, but top, yeah, no. But at the same time, I feel weird, like, you know, not letting you as well. So it's like, no, you're not allowed there, that's a restricted area. When you should be able to go anywhere on me, basically. It's just a bit frustrating.
So it has had an impact.
It has had an impact.
And of course, me complicating things by having lower surgery has had an impact as well.
Yes.
And of course, things happen on testosterone, so that might impact it as well. And then you might decide to have lower surgery, which will impact it even further. So, both of our transition has had an effect on how we are intimate.
Very
intimacy.
much so. Intimate.
But we're working on it.
Trying to.
And you've got more forearm now.
Yes. Thank you, T.
Which was very complicated when I just had lower surgery and he's got 4. So yeah, we've had to sort that out.
Yeah, that was rude.
But it's getting there, isn't it? We're working on it, babe, aren't we?
We are working on it, babe.
How has Finn surgery affected you, Drew, both in your relationship and in your feelings about your lower surgery? Well, we kind of covered that a bit in that last question. But
a little bit.
Has seeing me have lower surgery made you have thoughts about it?
Yes.
As well.
It's hard not to have thoughts about having it myself, to be honest, because I know that somewhere down the line that I am going to have to make a decision one way or the other. So yeah, it's been an eye-opener, is probably the best way to put it, instead of actually researching online. Like Finn did, I kind of got a first-hand experience of what happened, so I don't need to research it now. Which is, yeah, thanks, babe.
It's alright, babe. I'm glad to be your guinea pig.
Yeah, you're my gerbil.
See,
But yeah, to be honest, I've tried to kind of put it on the back burner, mainly because I am so early in my transition.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make it any more stressful than it has to be. It's not supposed to be a stressful experience, is it?
No.
So, you know, it's supposed to be an enjoyable one, and, you know, kind of becoming the person that I am inside and out. I can't deny it's not there, though, that I originally was probably a bit more like Finn in early days and going, no, I don't want it, I'm not even going to think about it. It's all hormones, top surgery, hormones, top surgery, hormones, and then top surgery again, please. Whereas now it's kind of like, actually, it's as much as it was horrible watching you with an arm up here and like not being able to kind of lie down, sit down,
Stand up.
go on your side, stand up, walk, crawl, wash. There is a part of me that's a bit like, actually, it's really quite good, isn't it? So, yeah, there's probably a bigger part of me now that would like it. But again, I'm still not trying to think about it either because it's still too early days.
I'm trying not to think about it either.
I want to get through top surgery first.
Yeah.
That's my next hurdle.
Yeah. We
and
should
then
be
go
about
from there.
August time.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Yes. And toes.
We just said that at the same time.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh dear. What is the hardest thing about transitioning together, and what is the easiest? That's a big question, isn't it? I think it is that
It's communication.
communication. I think the hardest thing for me is probably the constant change. Because we keep getting to a period where we're like, oh yeah, we're quite settled now. We both started this relationship being quite mentally poorly and needing to do a bit of work on ourselves, didn't we?
Self-love.
Well, and then we kind of like, so I went all through that change of like recovery and what have you, and we kind of started settling, and then I was like, oh, whoops, I'm transgender, I need to do this.
Oh, whoops.
And then you have as well, so I think I find that quite hard, that we just I'm looking forward to the day when, like, not much is really happening. We'll probably be bored, but do you know what I mean? Because at the moment it's just like, it's going to be like me having surgery, then you, and it's just a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Every day is work.
Yeah.
As much as I love you, and, you know, I don't mean it in a bad way, but
It is.
it's the general keeping up with a relationship is hard work.
Yeah.
On the grounds, as you say, everything's changing, and just try stop it. Yes. So yeah, yeah, just yeah.
Just
What he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
What's the
brain.
easiest thing? I know what mine is.
Well, I know. For me, the easiest thing. Well, I love you.
Oh.
That's probably the easiest thing. It's just knowing that at the end of the day, whatever happens, I love you. And whether it comes to a point that it gets so rocky that our relationship comes to an end, I'll still love you.
Mm.
And I still want to be a part of your transition, no matter what. And I'd always want you to be a part of mine. Okay, it might not work amicably, but I'd hope it would. But the easiest thing for me is that I wake up every day, and no matter how hard things are, there is something deep down that I know is that I love you.
That's really cute.
That is really cute.
That's really cute. I was going to say the same thing.
Because you're not just my partner, you're my best friend as well.
You're my best friend.
Oh, it's
lovely.
lovely. We're gonna like cry now and like thumbs up.
That was pretty much what I was going to say, but I think it's also just like the seeing you come into yourself.
Yeah.
And starting to find some kind of understanding and peace about yourself. Because I love you and I want you to be happy.